guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steffanie and I'm the blogger behind BrighterDarling.com. I am batch filming a bunch of videos today because I'm way behind and I'm so sorry. We've had a crazy month with my baby this month. We've started PT. She's got a late diagnosis of torticollis. I don't know if you guys are moms or know about this, but it's been something I had been asking her pediatrician about literally since she was 5 days old. Don't get me started, but here we are. She's 10.5 months and we've been doing PT and it's basically been taking over my entire life with doctor's appointments and exercising her all the time. And anyway, so I apologize for my lack of content in August, basically. So I did promise you guys that I would do a check-in of my Project Pan 2019 beauty empties, things like that. And here we are already in August. So I wanted to kind of give you an update on where I stood with the products that I showed you guys that I was going to be working on panning, finishing, whatever, this year. So let's just get to it. And I will try to insert screenshots of what the products looked like at the first video, since this is my midpoint check-in. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it. It's really hard to screenshot it and really see where I was at, but we're gonna do our best. But just to give you an idea of where we're at and how much more I have to go. So, all right. Number one, I really wanted to work on shadows this year, and that was something, I don't know if I mentioned it in the first video, but I was on, or am on, what I consider a eyeshadow no-buy in 2019. There is no reason I need any more eyeshadows in ever. The amount of eyeshadows I own is actually pretty ridiculous. I love eye makeup. It's my favorite. After foundation, eye makeup is my total weakness. I always want to try a new eyeshadow or whatever, but it's unnecessary, the amount of eyeshadow I own. So I really wanted to make an effort to work on my eyeshadows and particularly focus on the singles that I own. I feel our little Z palettes that are so gross have lost their popularity, mostly because brands make a lot more money when we buy a palette and we don't use half of the shades. If we were to just invest in single shadows that we really like, we would save ourselves money in the long run. And yeah, that's really the priority. We're looking to save our own asses, right? So anyway, I have, I showed you guys, 2 big Z palettes with singles and shimmers, and then I alternate between these kinds. So I will say, in the beginning part of the year, I was very diligent at using particularly this ColourPop palette that I had created with this random, I didn't even know, this isn't even a color, okay. This is a MAC single in carbon, but then these are 4 ColourPop shades. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell. Let's see if it zooms. I did use this for, I would say, at least a month in the beginning of the year. You're not even, it doesn't even, it's not focusing. Oh, it is focusing, but you can't really tell the dip. These are so hard to use up, guys. And that's the other thing. The grams of shadow you're getting in singles versus palettes is a lot more. So you're getting more bang for your buck on a usual scenario. Not every single shadow, but usually. It's really hard to hit pan on eyeshadow single pans, but I have a nice dip in all 4 of these shades. Carbon is new. I think I did buy that this year, but I bought it because I wanted to use it as an eyeliner, a softer eyeliner. And it's always good to have a nice, good matte black, and Carbon's one of the best out there. So anyway, moving on to this is more of my favorite MAC shadows right now, or it was, I guess. And then there's these 2 ABH shades in here. I'll be honest, guys, I didn't really use this at all this year so far. I used it today. I'm using soft brown in my crease and sable on the lid, and then I used, I think it's Sketch. Yeah, Sketch is patted on top of my black eyeliner. These I barely used, but these 2 are pretty much done. They were pretty much done in the beginning of the year. I don't even know why I still have them, but this is All That Glitters and Naked Lunch. I would totally repurchase both of these. I really like them. They're perfect highlight shades without being too glittery. And then sable is so pretty. Obviously I have that on my lid. It's just gives you the perfect taupey mauve of an everyday shadow without being too dark and smoky. Sketch is also beautiful. It's that eggplant, something different than your normal dark brown, not as harsh as black. So yeah. I haven't made much progress on the singles. It's hard. I didn't even touch these babies. Like, didn't touch the matte ones or the shimmers in here. I was really just focused on these two palettes. So I'm really gonna make an effort to try to work on these, which is gonna be kind of hard because if you've been reading my blog, I'm really trying to get into cleaner beauty from now on. Like, I think it's just important for somebody like me who's had infertility and other autoimmune issues to kind of be a little more conscious of my beauty products, but I also don't want to be wasteful with my money, and I did buy all this stuff, so I'm gonna try to like ease out some of these products and like use them up as best as I can and kind of see how it goes. So anyway, unfortunately didn't make much progress on the eyeshadow singles. On the flip side, it looks like, I think the next thing I talked about in the video was a MAC concealer, the Pro Longwear. I did finish this. It doesn't look like it. Well, I guess it kind of does. But this packaging is horrible. Like, the pump of this bottle, like, I'm not here to do a science project and waste my day, like, scraping out product. I have a baby. I have a life to live. Like, I just don't have the time to be, like, getting every last drop out. So once I just couldn't pump it out anymore, it's done, okay? So that's pretty much what happened here. There is, like, I can see product kind of on the side, the solid side here, but it's just not coming out anymore. So this was MAC NC30, it's done. I would not repurchase this. I just don't think it has as good coverage as Tarte Shape Tape, which is like my holy grail. I just can't stop using that concealer. I keep trying other ones and I just can't, they just can't compare. So MAC Pro Longwear is done and I'm so happy to be throwing this away. I've been saving some empties. Okay, the next one is Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in Tawny. I think I did a good job at this, I think. Can you guys tell? I like dipped it before the video, so like there's some, you can kind of see there's some here, but let's see if my camera will focus. I think it did for a second there. Yeah, you can see. So I'm like, I would say a little more than halfway done. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this. For a couple of reasons. One, since after pregnancy, my skin is not as oily as it ever was before. And this is really an oily girl's foundation. I also find, and I knew this even before my skin wasn't as oily, if I wear this too many days in a row, it does congest my pores a little bit. I have said this is a holy grail for me for years, but my skin is different now. So I will hold on to it for the rest of the year, but I have been using a different foundation for fuller coverage that's just a little more breathable on my skin, but yet still gives me the fuller coverage, and that is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. So if you found that Estee Lauder Double Wear is a little too heavy and a little too congesting on your skin, if that even makes sense, try the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I find it to be really pretty and wears pretty well on my now more normal combo skin. I just don't know. Like I said, I'll hold on to it till the end of the year because I have a lot left, but I haven't reached for this in a while. I don't know. All right. We're making real good progress. I promise there are some empties here. Next is another foundation, the Charlotte Tilbury foundation in Magic Foundation in number 6. This is also, it's hard to see with this bottle, but I'm like down to here and it is hard to pump it out. This is definitely a winter shade for me. It's too light for me to wear right now, so I definitely have to wait a couple more months, well, maybe like another month or so, to use this. I really like this. It's much lighter than the Charlotte Tilbury foundation now that I was using a little more and realized, but yet it's still buildable to be more full coverage, and my skin definitely can breathe easier with wearing this one. Again, I just haven't used it in at least 6 months because it's been summer and spring and it's not the right color for me right now. I do have this in shade 7 that is a little more full. I have used it occasionally because it's a little darker, so I can use it now. But again, I have to go back to use this in like late September, October, November, December before we can see how much I'm really gonna make progress on. But I think I might have a good shot at finishing this. We'll see. All right, next one is the Marc Jacobs primer. Guys, I don't think I used this once. To be completely honest, I haven't used eyeshadow primer since Savannah was born. Like, again, I think it's also because my skin isn't as oily, but I haven't had an issue not using eyeshadow primer because I use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer so often, and it, to me, works pretty well as an eyeshadow primer now that my skin isn't as oily. So I haven't used this. Why? Like, I don't know. I always swore eyeshadow primers made a difference, and I do think they do when you use them, but I also think it's more important to use them if you are more of an oily skin type now that I'm on like the other side of the spectrum. So another thing I feel like I'm wasting my life with here. Okay, here's something fun. We finished the Glow Skin Beauty pressed powder in Honey Light, one of my favorite pressed powders. It's a mineral powder. I use this to set my foundation. Rarely did I use it as like a foundation on its own. I just like to use mineral powders to set foundation because it does add a little bit of coverage, but it's still breathable. This is one of the best pressed powders I've ever used. It is not cheap, but it's like a cleaner brand, and I find that it's just really pretty. So, hold on, my husband just texted me. He's watching the baby downstairs. Okay, so this is done. I'm gonna throw this one away. The next one is, where'd it go? Okay, the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural Powder in Medium Golden. This was one I can only use like when I'm really tan, like this is my like tanner summer powder. So I have been using it more recently, but I can't even use it today, like I'm not tan enough. But I have hit pan on it. Let's see, let it focus. So you can see like I have hit the baked pan, but I still have a decent amount of product to go. But at least I've hit pan, so that's really good. Okay, next thing, the NARS Duo. I hate this, guys. This is that Orgasm Laguna Blush Bronzer Duo. First of all, I think I talked about this in the first video. Orgasm Blush does not show up on my skin. I don't know why. Well, there you go. That's probably why. Like, it's barely there. You need to be fair, light, medium, at darkest for this to really make a difference on your skin. I don't know who is darker than that this actually shows up on, but it just doesn't on me. To be completely honest, there is a blush from Beautycounter called Nectar that I've used in, I think, some videos. That blush is what NARS Orgasm should be for medium olive skin tones. It is the similar color, but it actually has pigmentation and like gives me a blush, like gives me a flush of color. So this blush sucks. I can't stand it. I can't wait to be done with it. The bronzer is also like mediocre for me. Like, I used to use NARS Casino. It's a little darker. Laguna, I'm using it today and it's fine, but it doesn't give me like enough warmth or bronze. Like, it's just blah on my medium skin tone. So I think I've made some progress on this, but I hate it. I really am so ready to be done with this. Again, it might be a little easier to use in the winter when I'm more fair, but for now it sucks. I hate it. Okay. Next is one of my favorite blushes of all time. MAC Gingerly is my wedding day blush. God, guys, I have used this a lot. I really have. These MAC blushes are never ending. Like, I swear to you, I packed this on. I'm wearing it today. It's like a bronzy peach. It's matte. Where is the end of this pan? Like, it just never goes away. I feel like there's still so much in here, and I've had this since 2014 and it's still good. I don't understand. But I do love it and I'm happy to keep using it. I just wish I could see some progress soon. So I would hope that by the end of the year I can at least see a little of the pan. Like, that's my hope. Next up is Hourglass Luminous Light. We finished. I love this. I already repurchased a new one. I've been using the new one, but there is Luminous Light all done. Oh, love this powder. It's what I use as like a finishing powder when I'm done with everything to kind of blend my makeup together, give me like a luminous glow without looking shiny or glittery, and just like naturally airbrushed. It's so good. Love this. If I'm ever without this, I think I'd really be sad. So yeah, this one's all done. I have a new one. Where is it? Right here. This is the one I've been working on. New one. All right, next up is another eyeshadow, last eyeshadow. I guess I should have talked about this before. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I have been actually using this a lot in the last few months because I knew I had to use it up. So out of the shadows, like the singles, I didn't really get much use out of, but I did try to my best, so much powder, to make some progress on this, and I do believe I have. So we hit pan on Tempora. This is where I'm at right now. I'm not saying I hadn't already hit pan on some of these shades in the first video, but if you're just new to watching this, I have hit pan on Tempera paint. That's like a paint, a type of paint, tempera. So tempera, some people say tempura. That's a way to fry shrimp for your sushi. Raw sienna, golden ochre, burnt orange, vermeer, primavera. I'm about to hit pan on Buon Fresco, antique bronze, cypress umber, and oh, that's it. Those are the only ones I've hit pan on. The ones I haven't hit pan on, red ochre, because these are shades you don't need a lot of. They're really pigmented, and like I'm usually only using them on the outer corner. So red ochre, Venetian red, love letter, realgar, and warm taupe. I don't know why I went in that stupid order, but that's the ones I have left to go through. We're working on it. We're working on it. Since I have not purchased any new eyeshadows this year, I'm making an effort to use this up. So that's the Empties. There are a couple ones that I didn't include in the project pan, but I have either decided to get rid of or I did just finish, and I wanted to just briefly mention it. The Tarte Shape Tape in medium. I go between Tarte Shape Tape in medium and Tarte Shape Tape in light medium or medium sand. Like light medium or medium sand are my fall winter concealer shades, and then medium is spring summer. And I finished up medium. I already have a backup of this. It's just my holy grail. Nothing else compares. It's, to me, it's lightweight on the skin. It gives great coverage, doesn't settle into fine lines and wrinkles. I really like it. Whatever. And the next thing, I didn't finish this, but I've had it for so long, it's so gross, and speaking to the Marc Jacobs eyeshadow primer, it's similar. It's the NARS eyeshadow primer. This is really good if you have super, super oily skin. I've had this for so many years, guys. I mean, look at it, it's so gross. The NARS packaging is really bad at staying clean. Like, that is annoying. But I've had it for so long. I'm not using eyeshadow primers. It just needs to go. Doesn't smell or anything, but it's just gonna go bye-bye. So anyway, that is the update on the pan, project pan, Empties, whatever you guys want to call it. I will do the final one probably in early January because I like to kind of get myself through the entire month of December to finish, and then show you what kind of happened. So let me know how your project pan's going. Like, what's something you are working on trying to finish up over the next 3 months, like this last quarter of the year. And I would say like my biggest focus for sure is going to be the eyeshadow. So say a prayer. The eyeshadow and the blush, my MAC blush. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.